Hello and welcome to Freeing All Minds equals Freeing Your Mind with your host, Abraha Brahanu. Today, just announcing an event. Um, February 2nd, there's going to be a webinar called Proclaiming Your Vision that I'm having with a few confirmed guests. And just be tuned for that and make sure to email me at abrahabrahanu@gmail.com to get a spot in the webinar if you'd like to hop in and listen in. Or yeah. So today's show is on a more calm note, doing it a little bit later than I normally do it, but figured I had an amazing time today, so I just used the momentum, because what you do beforehand funnels into what you it builds momentum. And so you have to be I've been a little bit more aware of my vibrational momentums, and there'd be times where my subconscious programs would not be aligned with the amazingness that I was doing beforehand. Like today, I went out and harvested my own chaga mushroom in abundance. Um, and Yeah, I had a couple of cups of tea. I even have I have a magnesium. I have kind of a overdose of magnesium from that beautiful chaga mushroom. And yeah, it was just an interesting day out in nature. Um, and speaking of nature, you know, it's interesting when there's a membrane of natural living threshold that's crossed, where you're feeling connected to a time. Let's say you connect to the version of yourself that before that the version of yourself created a Facebook profile, and ultimately I feel like some people, at least when I first was logging on to Facebook, there was an initial resonance there that pretty much was a microcosm of the entire Facebook experience afterwards. And for YouTube, when I was first looking at YouTube, there was a resonance of a very untrustworthy vibe coming off of when I just initially logged in and saw what YouTube was. And it's just interesting when you can go back to that initial feeling and look back on your experience of having actually delved in, and it just shows how amazing human beings are when you're able to realize and trust first gut instinct. What do we really know about what we're actually investing our energies into? It's pretty, and then there's another aspect of where contrast shows up when you begin making progress as well, no doubt. Uh, so, just had a dream last night of, thinking about people I haven't seen or heard from in ages. This Lilith is going to be affecting this, the astrology with the Lilith energies are coming in pretty strong and hard. And reaching with relationships, this is not something I would say I'm a specialist at, but I delved deep into where I was with what my needs were relationally and what I've done in the past. And I was just able to see, there's just a lot of mistakes that I didn't learn from relationally because my subconscious belief with relationships is it has to be completely seamless and free flowing, and it just has to auto work. Everything has to automatically work. There's no part of myself that I'm gonna hone up, and there's a lot of things in life where I realize, like even playing defense in basketball, that's not something that auto flows. You know what I mean? You have to learn how to play defense. And this is personal at this point, but relationally, I just didn't believe that there was such a thing as success or failure at all. At all. I didn't have that belief. It just works or it doesn't. And I think honestly, there's some advantages to that, but there's also some other people with other beliefs that are navigating around me while I was having that belief. But yeah, it's just interesting now with the Lilith energies, just looking on the past and making sure I learn from my mistakes. A couple of rule of thumbs though. I mean, ultimately the mistake for my position is, low hanging fruit stuff. You got to be very wary of low hanging fruit in relationships sexually. Do not go for the low hanging fruit. Do not go for the girl that talks to you first ever as a male. And there's a layer of forgiveness too. For I'm realizing, as I shoot for the Ducati of women that I want to take a ride on, it's interesting that when another woman who sees me as the Ducati and I'm the Ducati she wants to take a ride on, and you feel that she's really attracted to you, yet you're not attracted to her, I can see now from the super hot Ducati that I wanted to ride, female looking at me and being like, and now I can see through her eyes, like her perception of what was going on. And I just kind of forgave myself because I realized there was nothing I could do. There was really not. It's just not. The energy wasn't. The energy was not what she wanted. But what I came to an amazing insight to was that, there's always people who I'm less willing to go into trying to impress a girl that I would view as out, quote unquote, and subconsciously imprinted by the Hollywood, out of your league. And that whole out of your league paradigm, or in your league or other leagues, is a very toxic one. And it breeds superiority, which is a failure, which is a long-term failure mindset. And I just realized cases where I've been superior, where I've thought in very subtle, superior ways, and it's insidious. And realizing that maybe if I rewired myself, rewired my brain, rewired my perceptions, that I would allow what was coming to me, be more receptive for what was coming to me, so that I could have an actual feminine support presence and have, what was basically hand created from for me, that to just fit right into place like Voltron. And yeah, it was just an interesting moment of realizing my specific non-receptive ways, right? And it's interesting because on tumultuous days, I would go on these long walks. And to be honest, there's times where I'd be taking these long walks, and I've talked about this on other shows. If you've been, listening from day one, or if you go back to the archives, you hear me talk about my walking days. And those were just the developmental days. And it felt like when I had more things going on, I just didn't feel like it was something that I needed to do. It was just something that I used as a coping mechanism kind of thing. But really, it was generating me moving around outside, fresh air, exploring. It was generating great brain patterns and great. Um, it was generating like a great habit of just being in nature, and it just I felt like I could work with the mud of life that it was giving me so much easier. You know, the mud that would be given to me, and this year definitely has been so far a lot of easily transmutable days, and just turning that into amazing new growth. And yeah, it's just been a ride. Like a couple weeks ago, I didn't do a show because I was out until way past my weekly show time. But I realized that it's not like I'm doing this for a network or any radio station. This is based on my own archive and based on the frequency I want to emanate for that day. And it's just interesting how you pick and choose your spots, and how you can still honor the flow of life and self-nurturing I had self-nurturing that was coming to me, that I could have just denied that and come to this did the show at 9 p.m. But anyways, I wasn't on anyone's time except my own. And that's kind of one of the benefits of starting your own YouTube channel. That's like being on your own time is a real benefit and luxury that is super amazing. Even as males, being on your own time, bro, like realizing I'm realizing emotionally I may be not I'm probably most of us are probably not emotionally where we think we are. And using emotions as a barometer is like, oh, he's a 13-year-old emotionally, 14. It's obviously not a good way of measuring emotions. And that's something that everyone can agree on. That's something that needs to be measured. Emotions need to be measured. And that's an interesting inventional idea that is pretty much completely a concept right now that I love, though. I mean, can you imagine if there was just a machine that measured in some non-hurtful way how advanced your emotions are and what your emotions indicate and what you can do like in a progressive way to grow to be. I mean, since emotions are not necessarily tangible, someone could have the emotional mindset of a 10,000-year-old or a billion-year-old or an infinitely old person, and it might seem like, oh, they're a 0-year-old emotionally, so we need some other way to to really speak on that. And there's a difference between raw emotion and refined emotion too. So that that could be differentiated. That would be really amazing. That'd be a refinement of the invention. Um, yeah. So I did a reading on myself, basically asking myself, 3 years from now, if I were to look back on myself from today, what action steps do I need to take to um, feel happy about my progress? Specifically, what dangers I need to eliminate, what what dangers I need to eliminate, what opportunities I need to capture, and what strengths I need to maximize. Right, and so I did the yin, the yang, and the balance, and so I'm gonna screenshot this for you when I pull it up. So that for my yin, I got the page of this, and I'm using Michael Tessarion's Path of the Fool ebook here, which is on Amazon. I highly suggest hopping on to that Path of the Fool. Michael Tessarion's work is absolutely incredible. He released a lot of his work totally free online. So let's see here. I'm going to screenshot now. Alrighty. So, this is the card that I got reversed. And you have a pretty cool cool way that this is portrayed. You know, I love Michael Tessarion's way of portraying this information. He's just a master in the teroscopic system, and I got this reversed, so this would be upside down as my yin, and weird. It's weird the way he just kind of pinpoints it. You know, I guess it's I said it's a yin, my yin card, and this is labeled for women age 36 and under. So positive, negative aspects, right? Or just aspects. He doesn't really say positive, negative. Wow. So reverse means lack of skill, stupidity, avoidance of reality, inept professionalism, irresponsibility, waste, gambling, deception, missed opportunities, blockage, stagnation, allies steal ideas. My gosh, losses, lack of recognition. Uh, yeah. The reverse cards usually kind of have this, but with the reverse, you know, that's just, you know, I like to start off with the bitter, but what this could, you know, what essentially my attempt is at with the yin, you know, once I refine it, it'll be an unconventional, you know, it'll be on the positive aspects all apply. So unconventional, different, eccentric, attracting, charming, robust, dedicated, loyal, simple, direct, unaffected, nature loving, animal loving, generous, self reliant, independent wealth, new professional ventures, original business ideas, risk taking, daring, breaking boundaries, going it alone, open statements and avowals, honesty discussion, early stages of planning and investment, developing skill and expertise, moving quickly to secure results, subtlety, foresight, planning for contingencies, creating backup plans, outwitting rivals, attention to details, heeding or conceiving alternative methods, changes on the way, incoming information, new ideas, reinventing image and procedures, adopting new perspectives, reshuffling and reconfiguring staff and schedules, reversals, greater clarity, demanding clarification, seeing without distortion, moving quickly, beating the clock. Okay. And on the negative end, we have haste, mistakes, incompetence, foolishness, lack of discipline, experience, irrationality, inverted values, crassness, infantilism, mundanity, conventionality, vacillation, narcissism, opportunism, consummate materialism. Wow. You know, so that's my yin side of what I'm, and it does, man, this book is just well crafted. So, my yang side was the Page of Swords, actually. Last one. Here we go. Perfect. This is a card, you know. I got it reversed as well. So this is again, women on the yang side as well. And see what the reverse side says. Stagnancy, imprisonment, lack of originality, stymied plans and sudden obstacles, lack of discernment, aimlessness, no self-development, inner turmoil, resistance, blocked expression, lack of stimulation, goals impeded, excessive secrecy, unclear speech and thought, need for greater clarity, constant disagreement, argument, failure to adapt, denial, fruitless speculation, complication, learning deficiency, failure in tests, bad news, loss of friendship, death of a young child or female. Occasionally, the reverse position advises us to drop immature ideas. We realize that we are not always in the right. Whew. And so basically that's refining into, moving forward, into flexibility, adaptability, curiosity, friendly, unusual, bright, gifted, skilled, idiosyncrasies, idiosyncratic attitudes. Of or relating to idiosyncrasy. Peculiar or individual. Right? Risk, daring, spontaneity, clear communication, honesty, information, messages, conversation, friends, revision, re-examination of ideas, opinions, attitudes, philosophies, exploring the realm of ideas, incoming news, a major event looms, a series of changes, a busy and exciting time, invention, innovation, discovery, breaking new ground. This is a very on point. Okay, and let's look at the negative side as well. Childishness, scattered, heedless, stupidity, sensationalism, superficiality, confusion, casualty, poor planning, bad decisions, crazy schedules, pleasure principle, unwilling to face reality, disregarding assistance, scattered, distraction, controversy for its own sake, sensationalism, argumentation, coldness, disregard for rights of others, manipulation, ruthless, deceit, hypocrisy, narcissism, neurosis, insanity, evil. My gosh. That's the negative aspect. The reversed, yeah, it's interesting, And first to prove that I'm wrong, this is a reading about myself that I pulled up, and this is Michael Tsarion's Path of the Fool. I highly suggest this one. It's very comprehensive. It's very forgiving too. It's very appreciative of the. So I was talking about astrology earlier. Now I've meshed into the tarot. So this is the balance. We're coming into the balance now. All right. This is the balance for me. The Queen of Cups. And it was upright. Okay. This one's pretty simple. You have a very odd scenario of extreme flow going on. Cups is signified with water, so this is my balance. And the initial question was, we're having this conversation 3 years from today. What actions do I need to take to feel happy about my progress, and specifically what dangers do I need to eliminate? What opportunities do I need to capture, and what strengths do I need to maximize? And so this was in the center, you know. And when you're doing tarot and you have a very nice question to ask, the tarot reciprocates in a way. And you had 2 pages flipped upside down on the side, you know, saying basically these are your 2 imbalancements that you have, and it doesn't really matter what your yin and your yang is when you do yin yang and balance. It's just showing like where you can go, like what those sides would look like refined. Obviously, for me, I'd honestly say that, you know, obviously the tarot is accurate. Anyone who knows tarot, it's accurate. I kind of don't want to believe that that's what it is, but because it was pretty harsh. But better than not knowing. Choose a very honest question, a very comprehensive question. But you can ask the tarot anything. Obviously, with this intention, there's, you know, this is obviously going to air out a lot. This is going to change the nature of this show. But yeah, let's look into the balance. Water of water, emotion directing emotion. It's all in your emotions. Okay. So all 3 were women-based cards. Motherliness, warmth, affection, friendliness, support, sensitivity, generosity, humanity, charm, artistry, good taste, passion, beauty, laughter, lightness, idealism, romance, home, earth, domesticity, childbearing, pregnancy, marriage, true love and care, nurses, doctors, caregivers, counselors, philanthropists, mediums, visionaries, clairvoyants, healers. All right, this is where you know, wholereflections.com is kind of like the balance right now. All right, so let's look at the negative. So it'd be extreme introversion, weakness, timidity, fear, pettiness, hesitation, vacillation, vacuity, heedlessness, superficiality, apathy, laziness, hypersensitivity, gullibility, impressionability, hypochondria, irrationality, intellectual retardation, manipulation, domination, emotional blackmail, smothering attention, hypochondria, neuro. Oh, that's a nice word. Perfect for this. Neuroth. So it's pronounced neurasthenia, an ill-defined medical condition characterized by lassitude. I don't even know what lassitude means. All right. It sounds like, you know, if I had to piecemeal that together, it sounds like a made-up disease. Neurosis. Let's look at the definition of that. Mild mental illness that is not caused by organics. Paranoia, control, vampirism, evil. All right, so I didn't get that reversed, luckily. But the negative is not to be, you know, this is, it's just, you know, the two sides of it. It's 2 sides of the cup. You know, it's a beautiful thing. You see the high back chair. It's good taste, you know. There's a sense of good taste to it. And there's also a sense of, you know, what's this in the background here? You know, you have certain aspects to it. I feel as though, you know, the yin yang. I mean, each. I feel as though what's almost more important is that you calibrate your methodology of what what type of layout you do, right? As opposed to the deck, or even the question, or even the question. Well, no, the question and the the format that you use: past, present, future, yin yang, or balance, the 8 card method, the 2 choice method. Which is interesting because if you do the 2 choice method, like I used to have the tarot app and I used to use that. I used to do readings on myself on that. And you have the 2 choice method, which is pretty funny because eventually it becomes non-dual and you just end up doing both of it. But it's showing this. It's that card as a balance piece is just an amazing emotion relating to emotion. I've just got to be very keen on how I'm feeling, and be aware of my feelings, because my feelings direct other feelings, and that's the balance. Realizing that you can direct your own feelings, you control how you feel, and those feelings will control how you feel at other times. And I've been looking into I understand that, like, it's also dealing with other people in my immediate surroundings as well. That I'm beginning to understand more clearly the energy is there, and the balance is just continuing having good taste, releasing these videos out in good taste. In a way, I feel like I do put out really good, tasteful videos. But this has been a pretty special show. I'm gonna wrap this up unless there's a topic that needs to be discussed. Oh, I did want to actually discuss a as you remember your first interaction with each thing, having that ability to raise your memory using nutrition is going to give you the bigger picture with the contrast layers that you needed, that brought you into that. And forgiving is something, especially with old relationships, especially if you're a male and you felt like you were 3 leagues, you're going 3 to 1 league above your league. All right, all you have to do is remember when somebody you felt like was not in your league that you took out on a date, or if you haven't done that yet, do that, so that you can be in the eyes of the girl that you put on the pedestal specifically. And that's honestly the most authentic way to get into a forgiving nature, so that you can move forward and have better relationship stories, more seamless relationship stories in the future. And this is an experiment I'm actually doing on myself, so I'm not making a guarantee for any listener. This is not any type of counseling. This is kind of me balancing law, what I know about natural law, but I'm gonna apply this to myself, and see what fruits that bear. And yeah, that's it. As usual, horrorreflections.com. Email me at abrahabrahanu@gmail.com, and that will be it. Have a great night, or have a great day wherever you are in the world. Peace. Thanks.